Good Sunday afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another video. And this is my second video of the day. And as promised, I'm going to go ahead and bring you the 12 movies I watched in September. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is October. It is spooky season. But you will see my new intro for spooky season for this video, because all 12 of these movies are horror movies. So let's get started with Fright Night 2011, and this is the remake to the 1980s vampire classic. And this is about a young man that lives next door to a suspected vampire. So, with the help of like a Vegas performer, his name escapes me right now, they try to vanquish the beast. Very good remake to a very, very good vampire movie in the 80s. So, the kid is Anton Yelchin, and the vampire is Colin Farrell. I've seen this movie like quite a few times, and it's been a while since I have, so I just put it on, and I really enjoyed it. So that was Fright Night 2011. The second movie I watched was a rewatch of the original Orphan. Now, if you didn't know, there was a prequel that came on to Paramount Plus in August, and that talked about the events leading up to 2009. But this is the original story, and this is about like a supposed little girl who gets adopted by this family, and she stages herself as Esther. But there is something very off with her. This movie has a comparison to like The Good Son and like The Bad Seed, and this really, really works as a tense thriller horror, because Esther's unhinged, and she'll stop at nothing to kill her family. Of course, I really enjoy this, and we all know the twist. One of the best twists in modern horror. I mean, it's still reeling from how many times I've watched this. It's really messed up, but I really do enjoy this movie. So that was Orphan. The next movie I watched was the first of three movies I watched in theaters this last month. And that was Barbarian. This movie is like three movies in one, if you will. You don't know where it's gonna go, but it starts off with like this girl at like an Airbnb, but she discovers that somebody else is renting as well, and she like fears for her life. But as the movie progresses, you're introduced to Justin Long, which is also another resident at this Airbnb. And then you get another backstory that features the people actually living in that house. So, without being all spoilery, sure a lot of people have seen this already. Turns out there's like a feral couple living in the basement. So this girl had nothing to do or fear with Bill Skarsgård, which by the way, he's awesome in this movie. And I gotta say that this movie It's designed to be claustrophobic and scary, but to me, I've seen quite a few movies like this, but it's different in its execution. And I actually really, really enjoyed this movie. When I walked out of the theater, I thought, what did I just watch? But as I pondered on it, I actually really, really like it. So that was Barbarian. The next movie I watched was the continuation of my Halloween run through. And this is the only Halloween movie I don't have physically. But that was Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. So, I recently did make a video that combines 5 through 8. You'll see my thoughts on those movies. But this one is kind of like the most forgettable one. And it had like one of the dumbest final girls ever in horror. But she wasn't the final girl, because they killed off the final girl from Halloween 4 and replaced her with Tina. So I ran and raved on her character. So, yeah. This movie was not as good as some of the other ones. It's definitely bottom of the barrel. But you'll get my ranking when I do rank the Halloween series. So stay tuned for that video. But moving on to the next movie. Next movie I watched was on Paramount Plus, and it was a movie that had Showtime on it, which I added to my subscription. That movie was Aqua Slash. What did I watch? But this is a movie about like a graduating high school class that goes to like this abandoned water park. Turns out there might be a slasher on the loose. This movie was painful. I mean, it took forever to actually get to like a single kill. And not to mention, the kill is just 2 swords through a water slide. That's it. So, this is probably like one of the dumbest slashers I've ever seen. Because it's a one-note kill. Where you just have like a bunch of these kids just like go down a water slide and they don't come out fully intact. Of course, there's a lot of blood and guts. But the killer reveal, I was just so confused. But it was just like one of the lifeguards, I think. This movie ending was so ambiguous that I literally had no idea what I just watched. But definitely one of my least favorite movies that I watched this month. You'll see if that holds true to another movie on this list. But that was Aqua Slash. Moving on to Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. This is the 6th entry and the conclusion to the Thorn trilogy. So, this is about Michael Myers wreaking havoc toward the Strode family, and they so happen to like live in his childhood home. So, this movie was just okay, but it's very forgettable. I mean, every time I watch this movie, I automatically forget about it. So, you'll get my full complete thoughts on that video I just filmed. But right now, That was Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. Moving on to, I gotta say, my favorite movie of this month, and quite possibly one of my new favorite horror movies of the year, and that was Pearl. This is a prequel to X, which is a very, very well done slasher film that came out earlier this year. But this is following Pearl, a young woman that lives in 1918 at the midst of the Spanish flu and right after World War I. She lives on her farm with her mom and dad, and she wants to do nothing but get out of that situation. So she dreams of becoming like big in Hollywood. So she looks forward to like this audition, but she doesn't get the part, and then she just snaps. This movie reminded me of Psycho on a farm. Very, very well done movie. I love this movie, and I would really like to rewatch it once it comes out, as well as X. So, I have nothing much else to say about this movie, except that it's freaking awesome. And I definitely do want to watch it again. That was Pearl. And the next movie I want to talk about is an equally great Halloween movie. That was Halloween H2O, 20 years later. And this picks up in 1998. And we get back Laurie Strode, which her name in this movie is actually Carrie Tate. And she's like a headmistress of the school in California. And Michael Myers tracks her down. And we have another Halloween movie. So, but this is one of the better ones. I've always loved this movie growing up. And it's definitely one of the scariest ones. That ending works, but then it got tarnished when Halloween Resurrection came out. So, I'll talk about that movie in a minute. So, that was Halloween H2O. And I guess I'll give away the ending again, because Laurie actually takes Michael in an ambulance and forces herself in an accident and gets him pinned, and then she decapitates him with an axe. Perfect ending. But like I said, the ending was tarnished with Halloween Resurrection. Now, this movie is notorious for being like the worst Halloween ever, and I would have to agree with that, because the first 15 minutes of this film picks up at an institution, and we get back Laurie Strode, but Michael kills her, and then this entire movie is just campy, because it's about like this reality TV show called Dangertainment, and they recruit like these young people to explore Michael Myers' house. That's this entire movie, and it's really not that good. But this is definitely bottom of the barrel Halloween. It's still a fun, campy time, but I don't see myself watching this often. But that was Halloween Resurrection. Moving on, we have Halloween 2007. And this is Rob Zombie's duology, of course. And I gotta say, after rewatching both of these movies, I found a bigger appreciation for both of them. Because I've always loved this movie. There's a lot of creative choices to this, where it explores the upbringing of Michael, and you get like a 45-minute backstory towards him and his family. And it is it's completely tragic, because he's just like a normal kid, but he's just like living under a very abusive roof, and he just snaps on Halloween. Then he grows up to be Michael Myers, of course. And there's pretty much like two halves to this movie. Of course, it's his backstory, and then the last part of this movie is Halloween 1978, only shortened and a lot more gruesome and gory. And it's got a little bit of more nudity in it, but that was Halloween 2007. Really enjoy this movie. And that brings me to Halloween 2, 2009. And this picks up right where the original left off. And the way this movie begins, it's very, very creepy. Because Laurie Strode's like walking. But anyway, Laurie Strode is like walking down this dark, desolate highway. She's covered in blood and tattered. And she goes straight to the hospital, of course. And those first 15-20 minutes are what you want in Halloween 2, because you know Laurie Strode was in the hospital. But other than that, this movie picks up 2 years later, and this is completely Rob Zombie's vision. And it's a fever dream. There's a lot of disturbing imagery in here, and there's like this symbolic theme about like a pale white horse that haunts your dreams when you die. So Laurie is stalked by Michael Myers again, but it seems like Michael Myers wants her to join his family in the afterlife. So the way this ends, it's pretty much everybody dying, and Laurie is stuck in like this long white hallway. Then she sees Deborah Myers and her white horse, and she smiles, and that's the end of this movie. At first, I had no idea what I just watched, but after rewatching it a third time, fourth time, I understood the ending more clearly. And I gotta say, I really do enjoy this movie more. So that was Halloween 2. And the final movie that I saw was Smile. Now, earlier today, I just filmed my Smile review, so you'll get that before this video comes up. But this is about like a therapist who starts seeing visions of this entity after witnessing a suicide from her patients, and she starts to go insane. I really do enjoy this movie, and it has comparisons of It Follows and The Grudge, but it's something that we've seen before. But those are the 12 movies I watched in September. Hope you guys enjoyed, and look forward to more videos coming tomorrow and Tuesday. Tomorrow I'm going to film my October TBR. Then Tuesday I'm going to film my Nightmares and Dreamscapes ranking and review. So there's still some very exciting stuff coming on this channel this month. So keep a lookout, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.